Okay, now that we have eGlass unboxed, we're going to assemble by putting the legs on. But first, we want to make sure eGlass is perpendicular to our table that we're assembling it on, because you need a little bit of overhang here so that there's clearance for us to install the legs. If the eGlass didn't have an overhang, we wouldn't be able to get that angle to get the legs on. So go ahead and carefully position it so there's a little bit of an overhang. Okay, so next you're going to want to find your thumb screws. There's 8 thumb screws, and you can find them in the top accessory part of the packaging in the foam. It's hidden in the foam. So find those thumb screws. There's 8 of them. 2 of them are a little bit longer. These longer ones are for the camera arm. So we're not going to put the camera arm just yet. First we got to get the legs on. So find the 2 larger screws and set those aside for now. Okay, now let's install the legs onto our eGlass. You'll notice each leg has about 6 screw holes, but we're not going to use all 6. We're only going to use 3 of those per side, per leg. So why are there so many holes? It's because there's 3 different height settings. You can position the legs in this first setting, in this second setting here, and in this third setting. The higher up you install the legs, the lower your eGlass is going to sit on the table. So we're going to go ahead and set this up in the medium height setting. So we're going to find this larger, more rectangular hole, and we're going to position that right there so that we can see the USB port. We want to make sure that USB port or that power port, depending on what side you're installing this leg on, we want to make sure that's visible. And 3 of these holes are going to line up with the 3 holes on the frame of eGlass. So we're going to go ahead and line that up here, and we're going to have to wiggle it around until we find it, and there we go. We're going to screw in that first thumb screw, and we're going to just leave it a little bit loose until we screw in the other thumb screws. All right, we'll screw in the next one here. And the last one is, it's in this one right here. There we go. Once all 3 thumb screws are in, go ahead and tighten them up a little bit tighter. And we're going to go ahead and repeat the same process on the other side with the second leg. Just make sure that they're both set to the same height on either side. All right, now that we have eGlass legs installed, we stood eGlass up, and now we're ready to install the camera arm. Same process. All you got to do is slot the camera arm in and use the 2 larger thumb screws to complete the installation. Just tighten them to hand tight. No need to crank them too tight. So we'll go ahead and slot that eGlass camera arm in. Make sure it's firmly in there. And we'll tighten up these thumb screws, and once they're both in pretty far, then we'll give them one final little tighten. And now our camera arm is installed on our eGlass, and we are ready to start plugging in some of the cables.